Good morning, everyone. So, welcome to this short session. Normally, this happens face to face in a room, but I think this is part of the new normal. But I hope everyone is safe and sound. And yeah, thank you for attending this short session. Okay, so as a short of introduction, I'm Soul Matthew Florin. You may just call me Matt. And actually, not really an expert as on the invite, but yeah, I have enough experience in Citrix. I have an experience for 7 years in a Citrix team, so it's my second project here, and yeah, until now I'm involved in Citrix administration. My team is responsible for maintenance and daily operations of Citrix, and even from my previous company, it's a financial institution. I handled also Citrix operations. Okay, so yeah, um, this would be a short session, but the main goal is yeah, hopefully I'll be able to encourage you to learn and start your make Citrix as a career path, and yeah, encourage you to learn Citrix through this short session. Okay, and yeah, in fact, digital workplace services is really keen on building building the Citrix capability here. So this is the first step. This short session would hopefully encourage you to start building your career in Citrix. But later on, CapDev is also working on a module or a training. So that's a more thorough training. So I myself is helping out CapDev to work on a training. Hopefully, we can deliver it in the next month. Okay. So let me start first with a short video that would uh, tell something or an introduction about what's Citrix. So let's start with that. Let's start the ball rolling with this short video. Let's try to play it.
Expectations are
There.
shifting for both businesses and employees. A new generation of workers expect to be able to work the way they want. And no matter your industry, your customers expect on demand, always on service. How is your IT department keeping up with these new challenges? Are you creating a flexible, secure, and responsive work environment for your teams to succeed? With Citrix Virtual your customers expect on demand, always on service. How is your IT department keeping up with these new challenges? Are you creating a flexible, secure, and responsive work environment for your teams to succeed? With Citrix virtual apps and desktops, you can. Imagine a world where your team can work from any public cloud, on premises, or hybrid environment, and have an exceptional end user experience on any device and any type of connection. Citrix virtual apps and desktops, the solution by itself or as a service within Citrix Workspace, gives you the power to rapidly provision new apps and desktops to thousands of users in minutes, with central management in a single console. An advanced set of security policies helps you meet the most stringent compliance standards and regulatory controls, keeping your data secure while providing the right level of access for each user. The ability for your team to work securely from anywhere means resilience in a chaotic world and meeting the constant needs of your customers. Whether you are enabling your current workforce or onboarding new employees, give the best possible experience to your users without compromises. Citrix virtual apps and desktops, your highway to a modern, digital, and connected workplace.
All right. So this short video says it all. It says all the power of this solution, Citrix technology, especially now during this pandemic. The demand for a technology which would offer users to work from home, work remotely, work from anywhere, work using any device. So that's really something that would continuously grow and would be in demand continuously. So Citrix is one of the technology that which could offer this demand, and the best thing about this technology is there's no compromise in terms of user experience. So among its competitors, it's one of the technology which has the best user experience. Kumbaga, seamless yung experience as if you're just running the application from your own local machine. Okay, so that's the power, and on top of it, the best thing about this technology is you could rapidly expand your infrastructure without with minimum IT support. Okay, so yeah, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so um, one of the advantage of Citrix is it supports different platforms, but it's centrally managed in a single console, and which is the Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops, and it would support different operating systems and platforms. So we're all using Windows-based operating systems, but actually, aside from Windows, it would also support Linux. And aside from the servers, if the business would require a Windows 10 operating system, so it can be used as virtual desktops as well. Okay, and aside from having virtual apps and desktops, it has also a feature which is a remote PC access for enabling users to access um, resources, corporate resources from from your home, from your couch, from any device, may it be a tablet or a mobile phone. Okay, so yeah, so in here, this is the use cases and the advantages of using Citrix. But the bottom line here is, even with this features that is being offered by this technology, is there's no user compromise. It's seamless. The experience is very seamless. There's no lag. And it's as if you're just using it on your client machine, as if it's a local application running on your desktop, your tablet, or your laptop. And of course, um, it's secured. Okay, so this is one of the go-to technology of many businesses because of its proven security, and also it's easy to manage in the sense that it's since it's using an image, so it's one to many, meaning with a single image, you just patch a single image, you install one application on a specific image, and then you can deploy it to multiple desktops or multiple servers with just a click. At an instant, you'll be able to deploy it to hundreds of servers through using just an image. And in terms of management, there is a monitoring tool which is very effective and efficient in monitoring alerts and trends, which we'll be discussing later on this short session. Right. So let's try to discuss one of the good thing, the pros of Citrix. One is PC refresh. So this is important. This is an advantage for businesses which uses Citrix because um, it would simply, with the use of Citrix, it reduces cost. Okay, it would reduce cost because it would minimize PC refresh, wherein wherein businesses have to upgrade their laptops or desktops every 2 years or so. With Citrix technology, you don't need a powerful device to run Citrix because all the workload happens on the servers itself. So even if you have minimum CPU and RAM resources, you will be able to run Citrix seamlessly. Okay, and yeah, a remote and branch workers for branches of one to many. Yeah, you can use Citrix to remotely connect to your corporate resources and bring your own device. You'll be able to run Citrix applications on a tablet, mobile phones, laptop, desktops, name it. It would work seamlessly. With Citrix Mobile, you'll be able to run it smoothly on mobile applications running in Android or um, OS. iPhone on iPhones running on a different um, mobile operating system. And yeah, so even designers and engineers will be able to use 3D graphics without problem. So there's a technology in Citrix wherein even with the most graphics intensive applications, it would run smoothly in Citrix. And it's the only technology which could run it seamlessly. So like, let's say, for example, you're using AutoCAD applications that would need graphics intensive resources. It would run seamlessly with the right Citrix hardware and configuration. Okay, so question so far. All right. So moving on to the next slide. So this is one of the main product of Citrix, SendUp and SendDesktop. So SendUp is a Windows app virtualization, while SendDesktop is a Windows app and desktop virtualization. Okay, the naming convention was already replaced now. It's already called Virtual App, and SendDesktop is already called Virtual Desktop. Okay, so there's a lot of similarity for this virtual app and virtual desktop. Virtual app is would look like this. So it's specific individual icons which are published to the user, while a virtual desktop would look like this. So it's the entire virtual desktop that is published to the user. In most cases, virtual apps is applicable for users who would need specific applications only. Let's say Office 365, vSphere. So if you would like to, if the IT or the company would like to um, just publish specific application depending on the user's needs, So it's more controlled. There's more sense of control if it's using virtual apps. And the good thing about it is if it's virtual apps, there's more cost saving for the business because it won't consume too much resources. But on the other hand, if user has more needs, if user needs more powerful and more customized applications, if let's say user has runs applications, different applications which is interconnected, it might be more relevant to just publish a specific um, VDI or virtual desktop to offer more customizable experience on users end. Okay, so yeah, so each of this product has its own advantages and disadvantages. As administrator, Citrix administrator, it's up to you to assess what is the need of what is the need of the users. In most cases, virtual apps would be enough and would be sufficient. But let's say, yeah, if the user would need more customized experience, then you might opt for virtual desktop. Okay. Right. So moving to the next slide. So let's discuss about the Citrix use case. So there are a lot of Citrix use case, but this is one of the most important use case for Citrix, which is user experience, um, better experience with Citrix and Microsoft, and enable remote work. User experience with the use of Citrix, you would say goodbye to lag time. Okay, so we know that Citrix offers remote connection from anywhere, from any device, but it doesn't stop there. Um, of course, we have to consider as well the user experience. It will be, it will not be productive if you're able to work from anywhere, from any device, but the user experience is not there. So, kumbaga, um, the best thing about Citrix is there's no lag. It's the response time is I mean the response time is very fast, as if you're just using a local application. So that's the best advantage of Citrix. It has a protocol or a technology wherein um, it would offer the best user experience for its user. Okay. Now, second, ensure a better experience with Citrix and Microsoft. Now, the best thing about Citrix is they have partnered with Microsoft, and this would ensure that Citrix and Microsoft would continuously work for its improvement and for the development of this solution. So it would share the same tools. It would maximize the usage of Microsoft tools to enhance Citrix solution. And yeah, I think that's one of the advantage of Citrix with its partnership with Microsoft. It has better integration compared to its other competitors. I myself before have thought at the back of my mind that Citrix might the technology might die in the next coming in the next few years. But the best move that Citrix have done is their partnership with Microsoft, and with this, that would ensure continuous development. And I don't think with that move, I don't think Citrix would be obsolete anytime soon. Okay. So third use case is enable remote work. So yeah, with this feature in Citrix, it would provide user access to corporate resources. So it would offer flexibility in work. You'll be able to work from anywhere. So imagine the application of this is, let's say, if you're working on a graphics intensive application from your office, then suddenly you have to work due to some unforeseen circumstances, or let's say it's off business hours. So using any device from your home, you can remotely connect to your resources in the office. And again, the experience is seamless. Whatever you have left from your office desktop or office laptop, you'll be able to access it smoothly in Citrix. All right. So these are the common use cases for Citrix. That there are a lot more. So, but yeah, the bottom line here is with this Citrix use cases, that that really means that this technology would continuously be in demand, and it won't die anytime soon. Okay. So yeah, um, next discussion would be, let's discuss on a high level the Citrix infrastructure components. All right. So these are the basic Citrix infrastructure components, and let's discuss this on a high level. Right. So on the left side, it starts with, of course, its user has a device. So with its client, which is called Citrix Receiver, or the new version now is Citrix Workspace, you'll be able to use any device, Android or iOS, tablet, mobile phone, laptop, desktop, name it. So for any device that you have, there's a Citrix Workspace client that you can install so that you can access Citrix from your device. So NetScaler Gateway, this provides this is an appliance which would offer security for external users. So it would help also to load balance the storefronts, and this can be integrated with the domain controller for authentication. Right. So these are the other components. So you would need this part. NetScaler is required especially if it's enabled from an external connection. So that's one of the advantage of Citrix with its integration with NetScaler Gateway, that would assure the security of the connection with whenever you're using Citrix. Now, these are the other components, storefronts. It's basically the web interface of Citrix. When you log into a URL, it would list down the applications, and that's the storefront. It's called storefront because it's self-service, and aside from enumerating the applications or the icons, this one. So this is the storefront. Okay. So aside from that, it will also, yeah, it's also responsible for authentication and and for the delivery controller, this is the central. This is the main component of Citrix. Ito yung central management ng Citrix infrastructure. This one is responsible for creating machines through the hypervisor. Um, it's responsible for delivering the application, provisioning access to the user, adding applications. So yeah, this is the major main component of a Citrix infrastructure. Now, since you can configure a lot of items in the delivery controller, it would need a database server. Okay, and here, yeah, it would need a license server as well. Studio, basically, this is the console. You use a console which is called the Citrix Studio to manage the delivery controller. So this is the main graphical user interface to manage Citrix infrastructure. And Director, this is the monitoring tool in Citrix. This can be used by both administrators and help desk. So later on, after on the next slide, we'll have a short of discussion on the features of Citrix Director. Okay, so it's a web-based monitoring tool, management tools as well, which can be accessed through a browser. And here at the right side, so you'll have a type one. You'll have a hypervisor. So this can be using a Send server or VMware, and it can also be through cloud. Okay, and the VDA are basically it's called the target servers. This is where the session happens. So this VDA is uses an image. So this is one of the best advantage of Citrix. It's a one-to-many deployment. So even if you have hundreds of servers used by thousands of users, you can use a single image to deploy to multiple servers. So its use case is, let's say, for patching or maintenance, adding an application. So if you have hundreds of servers, you don't have to individually manage the servers. You just have to maintain a specific image, a single image, and then deploy it to multiple multiple servers. Okay, so yeah, it's a great advantage, and with that, it would offer cost saving in terms of on the business side. Okay, so yun. So one is to many. It uses a single image, and that's one of the best advantage of Citrix. Okay, so question. Okay, so this is the typical diagram for an on-premise, but the advantages of Citrix is you can do hybrid as well. You can um, do a combination of on-prem and on-cloud solutions, either Azure or AWS. Okay, so let's let's discuss next Citrix, an overview with Citrix Director. So this is a management console. In Citrix, it's easy to monitor because of Citrix Director. It can be used by both Citrix administrators and the service desk. So you can segregate the responsibility. You can assign tasks that can be performed by service desk so that the administrators can perform on the more advanced maintenance part in the infrastructure. Okay, so on the next slide, we'll discuss these are the common features that we can do in Citrix Director. One is you can view user session details, like which server the user is connected to, what's the user's log-on time, which applications are being run by the user, and so on. Okay, you can also restart hang machines through Citrix Director, and this part is for shadowing users. So with Citrix Director, you can use this tool to remotely connect to a user. So you don't have to use anymore any third-party remote connection tool. It basically also uses the Windows Remote Assistant. So through the director, you can remotely connect to the user for, let's say, troubleshooting purposes. Then here you can view trends in Citrix Director, trends that are very beneficial. So let's say, for example, there are trends like the loads of the servers, or let's say the number of concurrent users for, let's say, 30 days. So uh, basically, yeah, later on we'll check the common view trends uh, that you can see in Director. And lastly, task alerts. So you can create certain policies in Citrix Director. So so you can see, let's say, um, so you can have certain alerts. So let's say you can define kung ilan yung number of users, and then it would alert you kung peak na siya. So yeah, later on, let's see. We'll have a an overview on Citrix Selector. So this discussion won't be a live environment. So these are just screenshots, but you'll have a glimpse on how Citrix Director is being operated. So again, this is simply web-based. When you set up the Citrix infrastructure, you have a way to install Citrix Director, let's say, on top of the delivery controller. So you open a browser, it would run either in Chrome or Internet Explorer, and then you'll be able to run Citrix Director. Okay, so this is the initial dashboard of Citrix Director. Yeah, so as you can see, it's very informative. You'll see a lot of views and trends information that is very useful for managing and getting information on what's happening on the Citrix infrastructure. So here, yeah, on this part, you'll be able to see the trends, the alerts. You can search a specific user or specific machine. Here, this is the dashboard. You'll be able to see total failed server OS machines. So that's very useful, especially when you're, um, I mean, it would enable you to proactively monitor if there might be a potential high severity issue. So that's useful. Let's say if you just have a few machines, and this would let you know if, let's say, my failed, let's say out of 20, kung mayroong failed na 10 machines. So that would alert you through the Citrix, through Citrix Director. So these are the common informations that can be tracked in the director. Let's say servers that are failing to start or stuck on boot. Unregistered. This is the state of the server in Citrix. So for it to be to accept new connections, it needs to be on a registered state. So that can be monitored here, and you can also monitor the maximum load. Okay. So yeah, here this would show the part how many sessions that are connected. So you'll be able to see the exact number of users. Here the log on durations. So this is useful to check if the log on duration of each of the users are normal, or if it takes longer. So if it takes longer, you'll be able to have an idea that there could be something that is happening on the infrastructure, and that would trigger you to investigate the issue. All right. So from here, yeah, you'll see the alerts if the database is connected. So that's important. If the license server is connected, um, yeah. So yeah, this is the basic view of Citrix Workspace. So at first glance, you'll have very meaningful data that would help you proactively monitor the infrastructure. And the good thing about this is real time, and it updates every minute. All right. So moving to the next slide, if you click on, yeah, let's see here. If you click on this part, sessions connected, it will move to the next slide. And again, it will give you a data for the users that are connected. So it would give you information if the session state is active or disconnected. Disconnected means session user is could be already logged off, so there's no active session. Um, Information on session start time. What time did the session started, and uh, the Citrix receiver version, the IP address of the client, and you can also filter by active sessions or disconnected sessions, etc. All right. So again, these results are updated every minute. So yeah, this is the connected sessions view in Citrix Director. All right. So when you search a particular user and click on the user details, it has also this view. You can identify or get immediate information on the processes that are being run by the users, the machine details where the user is connected to, and even the latency of the user or the session details. So it's very useful for issues like, let's say, slow connection. So as we know, Citrix slowness has a lot of possible factors that could affect the issue. It could be slowness on the Citrix infrastructure side, on the client's network, or on the user's end. So, so here, it would measure the latency of the user. So if there's really a problem with the connection, it would um, give a data here. So if this is high, that gives you an information that the latency could be happening on the user's end. So or that's a cause. Okay. So here at the bottom, again, the log on duration. Um, so it would give you an idea if how long does the profile load, and yeah, so very useful for troubleshooting issues. Okay, so yeah, so far I've given you a uh, screenshots of Citrix Director, but as you can see, so it's very useful for administrators and service desk. This informations is really helpful to manage the infrastructure, and normally in other solution or other technology, for you to be able to get these informations, it's if it's not available, you might need to do scripting or see the logs for you, for just for you to be able to get some important information. So, pero sa Citrix, yan. So, these are all available through Director. So, when you click on Activity Manager here, this is the information that you'll be able to see. So, this is the activities of the user. Again, these are the running applications. You can log off the user if you suspect that if you suspect user is has a stock session, so you could log off him or her. You can shadow the user. So for instead of using Skype or Microsoft Teams to just to screen share, so you can shadow the user here, and you can also reset the profile through the Citrix user profile through Citrix Director. So if you suspect that there's something wrong with the profile of the user, and if you think resetting the profile of the user could be a good solution, then yeah, you can do it here. Now, from the Activity Manager, um, its use case is you can um, end the process, a running process on that is being run by the user. In normally you have to RDP on the user. So kailangan nyo pa mag RDP. Pero sa Citrix Director, you have this capability on the tool itself. You don't have to remotely connect or check the user. So dito pa lang, pwede nyo nang makita, and pwede nyo nang i-end process if yun yung requirements of troubleshooting. Alright, so again, when you click on details, you'll be able to, it will go back to this view. You can log off the user. Again, shadow. You can put the server in maintenance mode. So let's say if you suspect that that particular server where the user is connected to is experiencing issues. So para hindi na siya mag-accept ng connection, so pwede niyong iset sa maintenance mode using this button. You can also send message directly to the Citrix user through this part. So that's very useful. Let's say if you need to, let's say, restart the server, so you can inform the user that there will be a maintenance on this particular server at this time, and then inform them to log off and then log in back to get routed to another working server. So that's very useful. And on the next slide, this one. So when you click on Shadow, so it uses the Windows remote assistance. So when it's accepted, you'll be able to remotely connect to the user using the shadow option. Yan. So hindi nyo na kailangan ng third party application. So sa Citrix Director itself, pwede nyo nang i-connect sa user. Okay. So yeah, if you click on trends, yan, ito yung makikita nyong trends Citrix Director. So you have sessions, failures, logon performance, load evaluator, capacity management, machine usage, and network. And so let's say for concurrent users, you can search for, let's say, the number of concurrent users for the last 7 days, last 30 days, or even a month. So sometimes, and useful to monitor how many number of users at a given week or at a given month. You can use the data for, let's say, cleaning licenses. You can identify um, which users are logging to Citrix in the last 30 days or even last year. So ma-identify nyo kung sino yung hindi na naglalag, and then you can clean up the license, the allocated license. And again, here you can see the session duration for each user. You'll see a graph here kung ilan yung connected session during peak and how many disconnected sessions during peak hours. Ayan. So again, yeah, this Citrix Director is really it's really powerful for getting information that is very useful for administrators and service desk. All right, so yeah, on the next slide, this is the load evaluator index. So this data is very useful to check the load performance of the Citrix servers. Very useful for capacity management. You'll be able to know if whether you're overload, and then you need to add additional servers. And you can even specify a particular time period. Let's say, again, last 7 days, last 30 days, or in the last 12 months. All right. And you can specify a time period from, let's say, last 7 days, or I mean, from let's say previous month and then up to now. Okay, so yan, pwede nyong i-define. And yeah, it would show a graphical user interface already. What's the usage percentage, and yeah, these are the load, and you can even export this data. If you need to export it, you can export it as CSV. So normally those things you have to do scripts in other technology, but here in Citrix, yeah, you have this particular tool to get those data immediately. All right. So on the next slide, yeah, you'll be able to see the critical alerts. So you can set policies, and through the alerts, you'll be able to know if there are some functionalities in Citrix or that would need your attention. So itong mga alerts na to, dinidefine din yan through a policy. So let's say kung ilan yung uh, con- concurrent total sessions during peak. So pag let's say if it reach a let's say 24 users, 18 users, so it would create a an alert that it's already critical. So meaning you may need to add additional servers, yeah, for better performance. All right. So ito yun. So these alerts can be defined. So that's how customizable this tool is. So again, very useful and very effective for service desk and administrators. So yeah, so that's basically um, how you use Citrix Director. Also, you can define an email server here, so it would automatically send these alerts to your email. And yeah, so yeah, that's basically Citrix Director. Yeah, for both administrators and service desk, this can be used effectively. And yeah, we'll move to question and answers. So yeah, so basically, that's the short introduction for Citrix and Citrix Director. Again, it might not be really thorough, but I hope you get an idea on why Citrix will be in demand, and it would remain strong in the market. It's still one of the remaining technology which is on top of providing remote connections to users without any compromise. Right. So yeah, hopefully I was able to encourage you to learn Citrix. As I've said, we're actually preparing a more thorough training in Citrix. So hopefully we can deliver that in next month, and so that would be a more technical um um, would be a more technical training in Citrix. So yeah, so again, thank you guys for attending this short discussion. If you have any questions about Citrix, you can just shoot me an email or ping me, and I'll be I'll be happy to answer your questions. All right. So thank you guys.